and you thought your job was strict, breaking down the Disney Lookbook, plus this week's hot takes. Let's bring back the magic.
Bring back the magic for all to see. Together we'll discover all the joy and glow. In every story, there's a little bit of gold. Join our podcast adventure, let the magic unfold.
Oh yeah, welcome back to another great episode of Bring Back the Magic podcast. This episode is brought to you by Theme Park Chuckle. You can get great shirts on Theme Park Chuckle, such as this Bring Back the Magic podcast shirt. Why this shirt, you ask? Because Theme Park Chuckle is me. That's right. I'm Theme Park Chuckle. And I need you to buy shirts to support said podcast. Anyway, so go on to themeparkchuckle.com and get yourself a Bring Back the Magic podcast t-shirt. This one's a throwback to the old school Pleasure Island vibes and sure to make all your friends jealous. Thank you so much for that. I am one of your hosts. I'm Josh.
And I'm his sister Gina. And for those of you just joining us, welcome aboard. Please be sure to hit that like, subscribe, the notification bell if you are on YouTube. If you're on Spotify, please give us a follow. And also be sure to follow us on all forms of social media like Instagram and TikTok, where we are at BBT Magic Podcast. And we're also on Facebook for the dinosaurs of the world. Just kidding.
And this program is rated TV 14, so younger viewers have your parents' permission when watching said program. We try to keep it clean here on Bring Back the Magic. We don't forgive us. Who cares?
We warned you.
But you've been warned. Okay,
I really
sorry,
do
kiddies.
love that shirt,
So
though.
here's a naughty joke for everybody.
I really do
like
love
my
that.
shirt?
I love that shirt. Speaking of shirts, the magic of
Magic
mayhem.
of Mayhem.
And as soon as I saw you, I was so mad at myself because I was like,
Our brother
"Dang it.
Austin.
I was going to wear my shirt and I just it totally slipped my mind.
Well, some people care enough to actually wear it.
I'm sorry, but I have a shirt as well. Thank you, Austin, for those shirts. And if you haven't caught us yet on the Magic of Mayhem podcast, please be sure to catch that episode and all the episodes because we are big fans of his podcast, as we've mentioned before.
Yeah,
but
we're going to see how many times we can say podcast.
Yes, I really do. It's a podcast or magic. Those are the hot button words if you're playing the drinking game as TV 14. Not 14-year-olds drinking, obviously. But I want to say I really do think that PI vibe shirt is awesome. Well done there. I really, really like that one. I'm going to have to order it. It looks really, really cool. It's
Thank
fun.
you. Yes, and like I said, Theme Park Chuckle is the brainchild of Gina and I.
Mainly Josh, though, but I got to say.
Yeah,
for
mainly
those,
mainly me. If you like it, it's me. If you don't, it's Gina.
If you follow us on social, you saw the video we posted about it. And here's the deal. This was a passion project of Josh's or side hustle, whatever you want to call it, before we ever did this podcast. So when we started the podcast, we labeled it as our sponsor because any money made off the shirts, then we can put back into the podcast. Yeah. So it is our sponsor. But for those who ever maybe listened to episodes and thought, wow, why does that company continue to sponsor them when they keep flubbing everything? They keep flubbing all the promo
I almost
spots.
fired myself. I sent a really, really strongly worded email to myself one day. And I was like, listen, fool.
There were some people that figured it out. Like, for one, our friends testing the magic were like, I thought maybe because you never posted a promo code or a special part of the website, we're like, yeah, that could have been it. But we weren't trying to keep it a secret or anything. It was just, it is what it is. So now if you like us, this is the way to support us, is go buy those shirts. They are almost all for limited time only. Yeah. So we retire the magic.
And they will be rotating back and forth. And this isn't a big salesy thing in this podcast. We just want to let our listeners know. And we appreciate every single one of you. And we have a great time doing this kind of stuff. But it warms our heart that you guys support us. And that's the best way to support the podcast is to buy some merch. And we can go and throw it into some things for us.
Or if you have a large, wealthy company and you want to be a sponsor, that's another great way to support the podcast.
Yes. Or if you want to adopt Gina and I.
If you want to send us to Disney World
people
for
and it's getting
free.
expensive.
I mean, there's so many ways to support us. But honestly, just watching, commenting, like, subscribe.
Yes,
all those
sharing
things.
content is always the best way for us.
Thank
That
you.
and piles of cash.
Yes. Also, remember from last podcast, I hate Benjamin Franklin, so please feel free to send me anything with his picture on it, namely in rectangular shapes on green paper.
Oh, my God. Anyway, so this past week,
Yeah.
we got the opportunity to go to a really cool event, the Savannah Bananas game. I know this is not Disney content wise, but it bears repeating because it is a relevance in fan appreciation and customer service.
Yeah.
What they do for their fans and the interactions and the show they give off, it reminds me of the old school Disney vibes.
It's magic. It's pure magic. For those who don't know, the Savannah Bananas, even though it's not an exact translation, they're frequently described as the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball. They go on, they do tricks. They have a whole new sport they've created called banana ball. It has different rules and everything, but they are pure entertainment. When I tell you it's nonstop, and again, this is not a paid advertisement. I was lucky enough to go to with Bigfoot. I went to see them last year and then got to see them again this year. Caitlin was there. Stephanie was there. Our mom, our family, everybody. But they are a dynamic entertainment franchise. What they have done, what they do, but what Josh was saying though, it is more than just, oh wow, these guys can do backflips when they catch a ball, or they can do these really cool TikTok dances and stuff on the field. It's really mainly about the fans though, because all ages, they have like at certain shows, the Savannah Nanas or the Banana Nanas, and it's like a grandma cheerleading squad. They have the dad bod, the man nanas, the dad bod squad. They have little baby races. Actually, Caitlin's niece Sadie, she got picked. My son's girlfriend. Thing, yeah. She got picked to do like a dance contest to be like the princess of the field. It's something for everyone, and the little things that they do. I encourage you guys go look up their story because Jesse Cole, who's the owner, he was like down to like his last pennies, like mortgaged his home, everything to be able to support this team. And then they really just took off, and they pay the taxes on the t-shirts and the tickets. Like everything is flat rated. They really do invest in their fans and pay them back essentially. So the reason we talk about that is because we talk about with Disney, which is a way larger company, and all the little places that sometimes it feels like a money grab and the magic is compromised for it. There are companies that are showing the way that you can still show that fan appreciation, or in our case, guest appreciation, and deliver the magic and still be profitable. You know what I mean? So highly recommend them. Again, it doesn't seem like Disney content, but it is entertainment content, and it definitely is magic.
Well, and again, and it makes a lot of sense in drawing a parallel. One thing being different is Disney's a public company and Savannah Bananas are a privately held
that's true.
ownership between him and his wife. So the profitability is like, when's enough money for somebody? You know, if they're making enough money and they're happy doing what they do, that is. But like corporations have to report stuff. We get that. But you can still afford to give back to your fans and show them the appreciation they deserve. And like I said, we're all diehard Disney fans in the community. And I love it. I'd rather vacation in Disney. If I'm not on a cruise, I'm in Disney World. Just put it that way.
And you know how many times you've asked me to go on a cruise with you this year, and I'm like, I can't. But the times you've been like, do you want to do another Disney trip? I'm like, okay, I can make that happen.
Yeah, that can happen all the time, which is
that
wonderful.
I can do.
I'm like, I just got to work that into a Disney cruise. Unfortunately, I don't have as much pull with the Disney cruise stuff as I do with other people. We're still waiting for
our free cruise from those tremendous 90-minute, that 3-hour tour we did about Disney cruises. We're still waiting for our free cruise, and as thanks from Disney.
But at any rate, no, it's a wild experience being able to go and watch the Savannah Bananas and see what they do and be immersed in that. It does remind me of the old school Disney vibes of like just saying you're just overwhelmed by like the immersion. And that's what, like I said, we're getting back to. And like I said, we're bring back the magic. We don't say that just on Disney's account. Like say, hey, Disney, where's the magic? We say that from a fan perspective too, from the Disney community. It's saying we all have to work together. We've mentioned this on podcasts before or anything. It's not just Disney that needs to do better. It's sometimes the people that are going to Disney realizing that, you know, this could be somebody's first experience. So when you're downing something, when you feel like something is not up to par, just don't ruin other people's time. Try to make it magical for them. Do those little pixie dusts that you can do. Like if you can afford to let somebody get ahead of you in line or do something nice for them. It's always great things that can keep that Disney vibe going. I'm
so glad you brought that up, Josh, because it hasn't aired yet, but the episode that we did and we were guests on of Sharing the Magic podcast, which we were very happy to be a part of, and a great group of people. That was a point that came up, and it really like just kind of hit me in the midst of the podcast, and I kind of elaborated on it, the idea that when we're there, those of us that are lucky enough to go all the time, it's very easy to slide into, now we never want to be complainers when we're there. We don't. We ruin the magic for ourselves that way if we're just sitting there griping. But it's very easy to notice when something is slipped or something's not what it used to be, and you really need to be conscious of not doing that loud talk because you want someone to hear it and agree with you. It's kind of like I always say about the like button ruined the world because people say something rude and then all of a sudden somebody likes it and they just feel very entitled on it. But I feel like I want to be more conscious of making sure that I'm not making comments when I'm on a trip and being like, oh God, this was so much better before, or oh God, they've really lost the magic here, or because that could be a family next to you that scrimped and saved for years to get there, and they're trying to get every ounce of magic they can because it may be their only visit there, and we're ruining the magic. We're taking the magic away.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
Even if we feel, oh, well, I'm so justified. You got to get out of that mindset of I paid this much, so I'm entitled. Like, save it for outside the park. When you're in it, if you are not part of the magic, you are part of the problem. Yeah. And I am really keeping that in my mindset going forward because there are people that's their only time there. It's their only visit, and we need to make the magic just as much as we want the cast members and the company to do it. So we'll let you guys know when that episode airs, but that was something that was a big takeaway for me from that.
Well, that being said, we'll go into our hot takes.
Our complaining takes.
In spirit of that,
save it for the podcast.
It's getting hot in here. I'll keep on my clothes because nobody wants to see all that.
Right. Again, if you're on Spotify, you're missing all the flames on the screen.
The roast of Gina and Josh.
Yes. Well, I'm going to hell. No, that's people who don't like
Anyhow. So hot takes this week. Gina, would you like to go first or would you like me?
You go first.
Okay, let me try to remember what my hot take is. My hot take, is that on the boardwalk, the AbracadaBar, I feel like my hot take is that these drinks could be far more magical. That I feel like they are pretty dumbed down for what the aesthetic of the bar is. So if you have a drink that changes color, if you have one that has cotton candy in it that dissolves or something like that, that to me is not a big reveal from a cocktail standpoint. I feel like they should elevate something maybe a la the same way as the Hyperspace Lounge on the Wish. Just get the bubble guns. Do something that makes it more of an interactive experience for people in there. Because I feel like you're going to the AbracadaBar. You feel like that mystic magic kind of feeling, but you really don't feel like it. I feel like the decor does it a little bit for you. It's got that very early time period kind of classy magic vibe, but I feel like the translation of that, or maybe the bartenders there, and they're great people. They have some great bartenders. There is some inconsistencies on drinks, and me being the old-fashioned snob that I am. I'm like, I either get like the discount margarita, kind of thing with a ton of ice, or I've gotten a single cube one. I just feel like there should be a consistency among drinks and bartenders when you're there. But I feel like it'd be very easy for them to add in some specialty cocktail things or little arrangements with them that they don't seat a lot of people in there. It's not a big to-go bar, so to speak. I mean, people can come in there and get something, but I feel like there's always the same amount of people in it. It's not overrun, and it's easy to serve them. So why not make it an experience versus just saying, oh, here's just a bar like everywhere else. Yeah. You could go to the Bellevue Lounge and experience basically the same thing.
Yeah.
And just
maybe add in some like Trader Sam's aspects of it, where it's like certain drinks.
Something should come to that's kind of we're not doing wet spaghetti. It's a kind of a wet spaghetti moment might resurface here, and I'll claim it as my own. So Gina, what's yours?
My wet spaghetti. Nope. My hot take.
Gina didn't take her medicine.
My hot take is I don't belong on this show anymore. My hot take is that I don't particularly love when people utilize their social media to advertise ways to scam the system. And I get that people are like, we don't gatekeep, we figured this out. If it's an honest to God way and something that people don't realize, but sometimes there are people that are finding ways to scam the system and then they're promoting it and it ruins it for everyone else. And a perfect example of that, and it's probably going to be the first one that comes to everyone's mind, is the t-shirts. When people would come into Disney and they found if they were wearing a shirt that was not Disney friendly, that Disney would give them a voucher to get another shirt. So people started wearing inappropriate shirts to Disney because people were advertising it as an as an idea that, hey, you want to know how you get a free shirt from Disney? You do this. And it just ruins it for everybody. So I'm just not a big fan. There's a difference between saying something like, hey guys, did you know that your lightning lane actually lasts longer than you thought? Like, that's helpful. That's not scamming anybody. That's great information.
There's grace
I think
periods,
that
yeah.
adds to the magic to be like, oh good, now I'm not going to have wasted my lightning lane because I didn't realize it could last longer than that. I love that. I love a hack like that. That's not even really a hack. I love a tip.
That one's magical.
It is.
There you go.
But for people that are finding ways to scam Disney, it's kind of like shoplifting. When you shoplift, even if you get away with it, it ups the prices for everybody who didn't. So when you start scamming Disney, all the rest of us are paying the price for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that's kind of my
It
hot
just
take
goes
this
along
week.
with the wait your turn. Okay.
Right. And the only reason I call it a hot take is most people say, well, how's that a hot take? None of us want to see you. But because some people do like knowing that. They're like, ooh, how can I get one over on Disney? I paid for this. I deserve this. But those little things that I just don't particularly enjoy on social media.
Oh, that's all
So
good.
sorry to any of our followers who or people we follow that might have done that. I don't know. None of ours come to mind. But
that is our hot takes for the week. And we'll get into our main topic here. Our main topic is unpacking the Disney Lookbook. Okay.
got my
And
heart-
this
in my heart.
right here, the Disney Look, this little pamphlet.
This little pamphlet
That's
right
how
here.
you say it. It's very, it's a French. It's a Français.
This little pamphlet right
This
here.
little pamphlet. I have his shirts to you. I don't know, part Borat, part Ratatouille. I don't know. Anyway, this is a book that was available to cast members, and I believe there's an introduction by Al Weiss.
What year is
that's
that
in here.
from?
The year is one of them. It's a year. I forget what year. This is
Somewhere
many
in the
years ago. This is
1900s.
I'm saying this is probably near the 2000 celebration, somewhere close to
So
that.
just after the
Just
turn of the
before.
century.
Yeah, this just before the new millennium, I believe that this book was actually from. So, actually, maybe mid 90s, somewhere around there.
I was
because
going to say
this
the look of it looks.
I'm
very
going to read you
90s.
guys the forward, and I think you can get that from this because this says more than 40 years later. But here it says a message from Al Weiss about the Disney look. Or it could be Weiss, but I think it's Weiss. It says, since Disneyland opened in 1955, our guests have commented on the elements that set our theme parks and resorts above the rest. Cleanliness, friendly cast members, and an exceptional show. Here we are today, more than 40 years later. So it's saying more than 40 years, that was 1955. So you put it at least in 1994. So I would say between 95 to 2000.
It gives that vibe from the cover of it. It gives 90s vibes.
And it says these principles still apply. We now have more than 50,000 cast members at the Walt Disney World Resort. And each of you has played a fundamental role in our success with your smiles, willingness to help, and the Disney look that you exemplify through your appearance. The following guidelines have been developed to establish consistency and maintain the quality and integrity of the Disney look. As you read this handbook, I hope you'll renew your commitment to this special Disney tradition. By doing so, you will continue to foster our company's position as the world's leading resort destination. And this was from Al Weiss, president of the Walt Disney World Resort. Okay, so you can probably get that from the fact that he was president of Disney Resort. But it's got like a whole table of contents. I will go and kind of leaf through this real quickly. We'll go over some different finer points of it and kind of go over the parts of the book. But it has the message from him, guidelines for all cast members. For women, female cast members, costume women, non-costume women. For men, it has all cast members, costume men, non-costume men, appearance policy discipline. Ooh, that sounds good. And such. So those things, I don't know if there's another page in here. No. So those are the little headings for it. So before we dive into the book itself, we've commented on this before. Disney had a high standard of who would work in the parks because the genius part of Disney hiring was hiring as cast members because you could tell people how to look, what to smell like, so people are cleanly or not, how their hair could be done, their facial hair can be done, what they're wearing, how like their costumes fit, everything down to whatever they thought because it was a live production. We have seen that fall off in years past. And it's been, I would say, the real fall off happened post-COVID. because obviously hiring was a problem. They had to downside the company from reporting losses to doing things like that, not being able to open certain things, have to close down parks, have to go through and really weather the storm like most of us did during a bad period of time we all just assume forget about. But I feel like you could still hire in that process and have some accountability to things and not be as loose as they did. Like before me, like tattoos, everything showing, piercings, this would not be allowed in Disney. Like this would not be a Disney look. This look right here, get it? Not part of the Disney look. But now it is. Like you can have somebody that looks like me in the park and people are, not everybody's thrilled about it. Gina wouldn't be. But before they just did not. So it would be more like this a family, wholesome environment. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with tattoos. There's nothing wrong with piercings. It just doesn't fit that Disney image of old school Walt, the 1950s. Like you just said, this is where you want to bring your family. It's what you want to be introduced to. And that kind of sets the tone and stage for this production. Gina, what do you think about those?
Well, I think that what you just said at the end was very poignant because it is about an era. So like if you're trying to be authentic to an era, those kind of looks don't fit that era. It's not about judging what somebody looks like in their personal life. But again, I had said in a previous episode, when we talked about this, Cinderella, it's not going to fit the image of Cinderella if somebody's got full sleeve tattoos. And again, obviously Josh and I have tattoos. We have no problem people having tattoos. Mm-hmm. But if you saw Cinderella's arms all tatted up and an eyebrow ring and maybe a nose ring, you'd be like, that doesn't look like Cinderella. So the same way you can say that about somebody who's playing Cinderella.
It would be Cinderella, be spelled with an S.
The same way you can say that about somebody that plays Cinderella, you should be able to say that about somebody who's working on Main Street. And I don't think this is isolated to Disney. There's plenty of industries that have appearance requirements or restrictions. For example, MLB. The Yankees for the longest time had a rule about facial hair and long hair. And there was actually a player, and I don't remember what his name is, but he was traded to the Yankees. He had very long hair and he had a beard. He got traded to the Yankees, shaved his beard, cut his hair, and 2 days later got traded to another team. And that's how it goes. The Orioles for a little while had a facial hair rule as well. But so it's not isolated. You can't get into an industry and then dictate what they should let you look like. And I think a lot of that has become the climate of people fighting for individuality and being able. No one's saying you can't do that in your personal life. But there's a difference. It's the same way if you want to dress provocatively and you're a woman out in public. If you want to be a nudist in your normal life and there's places you can do that, fine. But what you're doing in Disney, as Josh commented on, you are part of a cast and you are playing a part and you need to fit the look of that part. No one is commenting on what you should be allowed to do in your personal life. Yeah. They are saying that when I walk into Fantasyland, there is an image of this storybook vibe that is supposed to be what people are playing, that role. If you are in an era of Main Street, a Dapper Dan should look a certain way. Yeah. That's a character. It's a character you are playing. Same as if you got cast in a Broadway show, there's a character you are playing. And so that's why we kind of have opinions about that, because again, it's not about your personal life. I need not know what happens. I actually prefer to not know anything about your personal life when you're playing a part. I want to just know that you are this wonderful cast member who's operating Dumbo, or you are this wonderful cast member who's serving hot dogs at Casey's Corner. Like, I just
Disney is an escape from reality. Okay. Yeah, and they want we want the people in there to fit that picture of that reality.
Right.
So as you go through the guide, it says like contact lenses, for example. It says if the eye color is changed using colored or tinted contact lenses, the resulting eye color must be natural looking and complementary to the skin tone. Decorated lenses are not permitted, nor is any look which would be considered distracting or not in the best interest of our Disney show. So even if you want to change your eye color and say, okay, you've got... Nobody wants to, and I'm going to be nice, but like a pasty white complexion, and you look like basically like a sheet of paper, but you have bright purple eyes. I mean, you're definitely, or like red eyes. You're going to be like,
that's what I think. I think
this
they're
person
really
probably has rabies.
Yes, like, referring to people that want to wear like those really aggressively non-natural contact
so there's,
lenses. I don't think they care if you switch from blue to green, but if you're wearing red eyes or the ones that like you look like a snake or something like that, it may be.
So it says also for entertainers, it says if an exception to the appearance guidelines is required for a particular role in a stage show or production, approval must be obtained from the vice president of Walt Disney World Entertainment and the cast image and appearance manager. Otherwise, the entertainers must adhere to the appearance standards that's set forth in the manual. Okay, and then they go into the hair coloring. So hair coloring, the Disney look does not permit extremes in dyeing. Okay, so you've got all these wild hair colors now. You see that in the parks too. You'll see stuff like purple in their hair, blue. Like there's a lot of things I have noticed. It says do not permit extremes in dyeing, bleaching, or coloring. If the hair color is changed, it must be natural looking, well maintained, and complementary to your skin tone. So that's, again, it's probably like somebody who's uber tan. Like, so you get somebody that looks like they had lunch 10 feet from the sun, and they're like, they have this like leathery skin, and then they have this bleach blonde hair. That is always distracting. You get like the older women. I almost said older broads, but I guess I did. So you get older women that have the one, like they get like the leathery skin and they're very old, and they're like old ladies, but not like you, Gina, a little bit. So, but they have bleach blonde hair, and you're like, wow, that's, but you know, the people that like, they smile, you think their face is going to rip, but I guess that's where they're going with that. They have a section for their name tags, pins, and buttons. So those, where are they go?
Your flair. Where's your flair?
Where's your flair? You gotta have 10 pieces of flair. So it
Where's your
says,
flair?
we are a first name organization. All cast members have been issued a name tag, which should be worn with pride in an upright, readable position. All names on company name tags shall be the cast member's full, legal, first or middle name, or a derivative of his or her name. Cast members are permitted to have their hometown, city, and state or country engraved on the name tag. Since name tags are an integral part of the costume, they should always be visible and should be transferred to the outermost layer of clothing. Name tags should be worn in the left shoulder area based on costume design. This placement may vary. Please check with your area leader for clarification. Name tags should not be worn as tie clips on shirt or blouse collars, nor on waistbands. Name tags must be removed when engaging in non-business activities such as eating and shopping on or off property.
It's interesting.
Cast members have the option of wearing up to 2 pins on the name tag. Stickers or other decorations are not permitted. Sorry, Gina, no Stitch stickers here. The only pins which may be worn on the name tag are your most recent service pin. So everybody knows, they've seen on the Disney service pins, you've seen Steamboat Willie, which denotes you've worked for at least 1 year in the company, between 1 and under 5 years. 5 years, I do believe, is Donald. I want to say.
Are you sure it's not Pluto? Do you remember the thing I just sent you on Snapchat? Did you see what it was?
No.
Yesterday I sent you a Snapchat when I was
get
going
on
through
the
my
Snapchat.
bin, and it's this little gold, I think it's a pin, and it's Pluto, and it has a 5 on it. And I go,
It could be 5. It could be 2, but they've changed certain things around.
Right, maybe. But I was like, is this something? Because it's definitely something.
Well, they have ones. They have ones with Tinkerbell on them,
Right.
the castle.
But I don't
they
know
have
what it
ones
is,
with
but I
Mickey
found it in
on
one
them.
of
They
my
have a lot, but they
memorabilia
always
bins.
have. The first one is Steamboat Willie, and it always denote that you've been there at least a year.
Right.
But you also have a Partners in Excellence pin you could put on there, or the 1971 Opening Team pin. So those are ones you can do through. I'm not going to read everything on there. You also have your Disney Trainer pin you can wear on your outfit too, which is Jiminy Cricket.
I think it's interesting, though, to see just how specific
they're down to the letter.
it was. And I have no problem with that, because I worked in an industry before where we were very specific on a look, because you have to put yourself in the eyes of the guest that's coming in. And people have got to let go of the idea that it's a personal attack on their style, because it is not about you as a person.
You have to be appealing to all the senses.
Right, but it is not about you as a person when you are there, when you are cast in something, right? Like if you are getting cast as playing Juliet on Broadway, then it is about you portraying the character of Juliet, not about whoever you are in real life. It's just not like you just said, Disney is about fantasy. It's about outside of real life.
Listen, nobody wants a Cinderella with onion breath. They're like,
Right.
here, I just
And
had a
also-
Greek salad over here, and I ate a crap ton of onions. I'm like, nobody wants that.
Okay, guys, here's a fun fact about me. I used to manage a spa back in the day, and
And we've heard.
talk about finicky. The restroom in our spa that the employees were allowed to use was right near the little luncheonette area we had. And I had a very strict rule that you were only allowed to pee in that bathroom. And you weren't even allowed to go there if somebody was eating lunch at the time. You had to use this bathroom that was attached to the building that we were in. And I had a rule. I said, you are not going to go poo in that bathroom when someone is out there eating, because that, first of all, it's a spa. You're going to compromise the aromatherapy.
This episode took a bad turn.
Sorry. But I'm saying, so when people look at me, I am particular about certain things. We all know I'm all about theming. And
You can't
sometimes
see the
theming
lower
and all
half
this
of either
senses.
Gina or I. We could be pooping
have
right
no
now.
pants on.
Nobody. I should hope we.
Oh my God! You know
this is our bathroom.
There's
podcast,
an episode
the
of Kimmy
Poo
Schmidt
Cast.
like that where the guy's teaching a Peloton class and they turn out it's just a screen in front of him and he's been sitting on a toilet the whole time. That just makes me think of. I'm shout out. I love that show. But anyway, when you're that big a stickler that you have that kind, I don't mind Disney putting that much effort into theming because it is theming. That's what that all comes down to. The aesthetic of the person, the way the person, customer service training is part of theming. How do we act? How do we react? How do we respond? What are we putting forward? It's all part of the five senses experience. And sight is a big one. So the way you look, smell is a big one. The way that you smell, sound is one. The way that you respond and talk to people, like all of those things factor in. And if you
How
want to
does
start,
touch come into this?
if you
Gina?
want to
How you
start,
touch people?
if you want to start breaking the rules, though, you got to ask yourself, at what point do you cut it off? Because if someone says, "Well, I don't like a shirt buttoned up to my neck. I want to be able to
I'm
unbutton
anxious
it."
at how you describe taste to people in your spa. All the senses must be like, how does this person taste?
Taste is the brownies that we served after we were done the service and the tea that we served.
Well, this goes right along
taste.
with what you were saying. Personal hygiene is outlined in here. It says, due to close contact with guests and fellow cast members, the use of antiperspirant or deodorant is required. I'm going to go over that again. Is required. It's not at Comic-Con. I can tell you that right now because God bless people and I love them. But it's not so much people are uncleanly. It's the fact that people decide to wear the same costume for all 4 days. And that was the thing always a problem. I said, I know you're not Febrezing that thing at the end of the day, but you should. Because if you're dressed like a Wookiee and you're sweating your butt off.
Wookiee here.
Yeah. I'm like, no, you're going to smell like a Wookiee by the end of the day. So.
And also, that's a perfect other example, though, Josh. Just because you may not wear deodorant in your real life, like that's part of the job. You have to wear deodorant for this. Just like some people may not wear bras in real life, but you say undergarments are required. You have to wear that. And it all goes back to me, the idea of if you don't like it, don't work at Disney World. Yeah. It's totally fine.
I was going to say that to you.
There.
It's like you made the choice to work for the company.
Yes.
The company did not recruit you in some weird draft. Okay. It wasn't like they didn't say, okay, Florida's having a draft for employment. You got selected. Sorry, you go to Disney. You applied to work there. You should know what's entailed.
I also want to say real quick, Josh, before you go into that next paragraph, is Josh and I have spoken to many cast members and former cast members that do agree with the statements that Josh and I are making, because we never want our podcast to sound like we are insensitive
cast members either,
or targeting. There are a lot of cast members that feel the same way of the idea of where did that go? Like they felt like that same concept had slipped away and it bothered them the same way it bothers us. So it's not that we are not sensitive to cast members by any means.
And there's some people that can't help certain things. Like there's certain
you can't help if you're stinky.
Yeah, there's some smelly
people
fools
are
out there that can't.
halitosis.
Listen, God bless people. Okay, I said I tried to make it. You can tell. Like somebody, I've gained weight. I'm like I notice like maybe I sweat more now. Whatever it is, but there is, and people might have to re-up stuff. But you know what? Friendly cast reminder: if you're around somebody that might be starting to turn, you're like, hey, it's 98 degrees out here and you're glistening like a Diddy Freakoff. You need to not.
But honestly, I will tell you, as much as that's more off-putting, I do feel like that's something that sometimes people can't control. They may have put deodorant on, their deodorant failed them, they're working the heat. I have far more forgiveness for that than somebody who just shows up looking sloppy.
Well, that's the thing is, and we're talking about, like, we'll go into that too, but it's, we're saying about deodorant being required. And it says, for the same reasons, the use of strong, heavy scents and fragrances is not permitted.
Yes.
So
and
if you're somebody that wears, if you're an older lady cast member that wants to wear Liz Taylor diamonds or whatever else it is, White Diamonds by Elizabeth Taylor, or something that smells like
or the designer imposter version,
or something that smells like rose toilet paper. And whatever
bathroom
it is,
spray perfume is what I call it. If it smells like Glade
if
made
it smells like a roll of toilet paper soaked in rose
Glade's
petals,
collection,
that's
then
probably what this is. But it said they're like, it's not permitted. If you choose to wear a scent or fragrance product, please be considerate of others and select a light, mild scent.
Right.
So they
do that at doctor's offices, though. There's signs all the time at places, especially allergy places.
Because it's all the receptionists.
Please don't wear anything because it may be, you may trigger somebody else's allergy or something.
You know it's the receptionist. Hey, how you doing?
You
again. Filled out the form. It's Roz from Monsters
She's covering
Inc.
the smell of her smoke break with Glade.
You're here for your dental appointment. Here you go. Fill this out.
Yeah.
I know you filled this out last week, but
I
fill
get
it out again.
I get that because some perfumes can, like, people like Christiane, our cousin, like, she gets a headache real easily.
Well, there's
from
certain
very
things that
strong
will
scents.
overpowering things. Like I'm somebody. If you know
Axe
me,
body
you've
spray.
met me in person. I wear cologne. Okay, I may wear too much
Thank
cologne.
God.
Who knows? But I do wear cologne, and I try to make sure it's a pleasing scent. I've never been told ew, but it's first time for everything. Another thing is sunglasses. They were saying sunglasses are a block to interpersonal communication with guests and should be avoided if possible.
I actually never noticed that before.
And it says, as a general rule, you only see sunglasses majority of the time is if somebody is working in the direct line of
Like Animal
sun,
Kingdom or
or
something
somebody's
like
on
that.
one of the friendship cruise
Yeah.
vessels or whatever it is,
like
like the
Animal
boats.
Kingdom.
Yeah,
a
because
lot.
the boat captains and all those, they tend to wear sunglasses. You'll see them take them off, but they tend to wear them because obviously they got to watch the glare off the water and everything.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it basically goes into there. It's saying it's not a personable thing. You don't want to be staring at somebody's dead eyes, basically, because of that. Tattoos. This is a good one here. Visible tattoos are not considered to be in the best interest. And this is where they're trying to be nice with their wording of our Disney show and are not permitted. The use of bandages to conceal a visible tattoo will not be permitted. So basically you can't look like you just fell off a cliff and tumbled to the bottom, because if you got sleeves, like, I'll just wrap this up and put some gauze on it.
Because I think, again, sometimes it's like, it's such a slippery slope, because if you say tattoos are permitted, then you've got to start going into which tattoos are permitted. Because if somebody's got a sexy girl on their arm, or they've got, something that could be considered offensive to children or people, or somebody's got some kind of statement that's going to offend somebody or whatever. So that's why I feel like it is easier to just say no visible tattoos.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have to worry. There may be cast members that
I've
have
seen-
gorgeous Disney tattoos, but I feel like you kind of got to make it.
I've
across
seen
the
there
board.
probably there's got to be a section in this, I would imagine, for the piercing thing, but I actually have seen, I think it was at the like the little hot dog cart stand on the boardwalk, the girl who was working that for like the boardwalk fries kind of whatever thing, she had, I want to say it was like a lip ring or something, but she had a clear little thing that went through that she put in to hold it. She had to take out her piercing to work there, but it was like this clear little straw she stuck, which actually looked
More off-putting.
off-putting.
Sorry for
because
listening.
I was like, what did that happen? Did you get a splinter? Like what's going on? But it was a little weird.
Do you
It said apparently
remember
that's what helps you
talking
to do it.
about? Okay, so do you remember one time you and I were on the friendship boats on a Disney trip years and years and years ago, and we were sitting there, and it was like there was seats next to you and I, but people kept getting on the boat and not sitting next to you. And I remember thinking I'd watch them like walk past you, and there was a seat clearly next to you, but you had on a tank top, your eyebrow ring, your earrings, all your tattoos visible. Now I was sitting next to you, and my tattoos were not visible.
And I was only looking like this.
No, but I said to him,
Or like this.
I think people aren't sitting next to you because, and to be fair, I
You
said,
smell.
prior to me having tattoos and whatever, like probably back in the day, I would have had the same idea. Like, oh, what is that person like? And a quick snap judgment. I'm being completely honest. When I was younger, I probably would have thought, oh, why is that person at Disney? They're all tatted. That doesn't seem like it's their taste, when obviously we know that's completely false.
Well, this might
And I
also
said
been
it to
way
Josh,
back
and I
when I was
said,
in better shape too,
I
so
think
it's
these
not like it was
people
small.
aren't sitting next to you because maybe they think you're a different personality type than you are. And I remember Josh felt so hurt. He was like, are you serious? Like, do you think people are not sitting next to me for that reason? I said, I don't know. It's just everyone has walked by you, and some people are standing instead of sitting next to you.
There's a guy with one leg standing behind you,
But
because he
it
doesn't
just
want
goes to
sit
show
down.
that, and I know there will be people perhaps that think, well, you got to teach people not to judge people. Again, it's not about judging and thinking they're a bad person for the things they have. It's about, we talked about with the Pleasure Island episode, there is a bubble and there is an image and there is a fantasy storybook idea that people want in Disney that even you or I, parts of us wouldn't fit. You know what I mean? Now, God knows I've had my hair purple, pink, every color of the rainbow, but I can't get mad if I went to work at Disney and they said, oh no, you can't work on Main Street because you have hot pink hair. It doesn't fit the aesthetic. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with saying that. So I'm putting myself in that same category.
Yeah.
I have been in jobs before where it's like, I have to be careful what I wear because the shape of my body, that certain things will look provocative even if they're not provocative
And on
on
to the
somebody
next
else.
part. Okay. So, speaking of which, undergarments. Cast members are required to wear appropriate undergarments at all times. Patterned or colored undergarments that are visible when worn under light colored costumes are not permitted.
Sticking out
So
your
you can't wear your lacy bra with the little cherries all over it. So that's
or
not
your red
good.
undies under
now
your
there
white
is
pants.
a lot to get through. So I'll abbreviate some of our responses in this
Right.
just because there's a lot to get through in this book, and I don't want to.
How far into this episode are we?
We're already 40 minutes into this, and I'm like, I want to make sure we don't go and do what
Okay.
we've been doing. So, medical conditions. Any request for an exception due to Disney look policy for medical reasons must be presented to the Health Services Department with supporting medical
Like an eye
documentation.
patch.
So you better have proof.
Like an eye
You better
patch.
have proof. You're like, I lost my leg. Let me see it. Get a doctor's note. That might not be that might be a fake no leg. But I'd say a copy of request and medical information is to be retained at Health Services. A copy of any approved restriction is to be sent to your manager. Permanent medical restrictions must be updated annually or more frequently if condition changes. Okay. And it says in the kind of a follow-up to this end of this section, it says, using good judgment, as with all your duties and responsibilities as Walt Disney World cast member, you're expected to demonstrate professionalism and good judgment at all times related to your appearance. For this reason, if you're ever in doubt about the appropriateness of your appearance, please keep in mind that anything that could be considered distracting or not in the best interest of the Disney show will not be permitted. When necessary, ask your area leader or Disney cast image and appearance manager for clarification. So I will let you know that these are very long sections on this. And I just want to pick and choose a couple things out of here for this. And this says guidelines for all female cast members. Okay. Hairstyling. We were talking about this before. Now, looking unkempt. Okay. And it is unkempt. I used to say unkept, but it's unkempt.
Did you do research?
No, I got corrected by Jump Street. So he goes, it's unkempt, and he's like a wordsmith anyway, my best friend. So it's funny. But that unkempt look, like perfect example. Gina now, okay, looks like a Cavapoo poodle. Okay, like she's got this that doesn't fly. You're like, listen, no, I'm just teasing. So you look like you have little doggy ears, but. Things like that'd be more put together. Gina's kind of prim and proper in what this is. That would probably be okay. But the person has the bun off to the side of their hair, like in Gina's Sprinkled Thoughts episodes on Instagram.
Basically Gina's Sprinkled Thoughts are completely violating any
We send
Disney
it to all
code.
cast directors.
I'm not even sure I'm wearing undergarments in half of those. TV 14.
Gina's manifesto that she puts on IG all the time. So. I'll pick out a few here and there. It said hostesses should keep their hair neatly combed and arranged in an attractive, classic, easy to maintain style. Okay. Hair products may be used to create a soft, natural hairstyle within these guidelines. Extreme asymmetrical or bi-level styles are not permitted. I don't even know what that means.
I guess if you have a cut that's like
Kid and
weird.
Play,
like people that shave the side of their head
beehive?
and have long hair,
Okay.
But you know what I will say, Josh? That to me is globally important when it comes to food service, especially.
Yes. Well,
when
hairnet
I walk
should
in
always be a thing.
anywhere that they are serving, it's actually one of my pet peeves about one of my favorite channels, which is Food Network. How many cooking shows there are, whether it's Rachel Ray or any of those people, they have their hair down the whole time they're cooking, and it makes me crazy because I feel like it promotes the idea it's more important you look good while you're cooking. Keep your hair out of the way. It's disgusting.
This is great, by the way. Shaving of the head, or this is the female cast guidelines. Obviously, certain things would come into play here too. They said exceptions, obviously, if you have to shave your head for a medical reason. But shaving of the head or any portion of the head, like just a portion, just right here, just beyond the old ear right there. I need a little shiny spot.
I just burped. I hope you couldn't hear it in the microphone. Sorry, Spotify.
Any portion of the head or eyebrows is not permitted. So
Whoopi Goldberg screwed.
Yeah.
Sorry, Whoopi.
Yep. Can't shave my eyebrows off.
Mm-hmm.
But that to me is pretty funny. Like I said, I'm only going to go through a couple, and they have makeup little guidelines in here as well.
Mm-hmm.
It says our policy to encourage the use of makeup to enhance natural features and to create a fresh, natural appearance. Makeup should be applied in a blended manner to avoid stains on costumes, and in colors complementary to the skin tone. So Disney's big thing to take away on all these guidelines is complementary colors to your skin tone. So I'm guessing that the Mimi from Drew Carey is
Yeah.
kind of like
Or the orange
do
line,
not.
white
Like she's
neck,
the poster
like-
child for
Yeah.
this gets you sent to the right to see the mouse.
Overly
You're like, go talk to the
spray-tan.
mouse.
Yeah.
You're in trouble.
Yeah.
So they encourage you to wear that kind of stuff. Cell phones and pagers not allowed. That's another difference of this. We see so much nowadays of Disney cast members having their phone out, interacting, private conversations and stuff that should be kind of like off stage kind of thing, which we would put off stage being anywhere public areas of Disney is on. Sightline stuff. Off sightline is, backstage. So they didn't allow either of them unless you had, I guess, like a special, consideration for it. Costumes should be neat and clean all times. If a costume change becomes necessary during your shift, you should report immediately to your costuming location for a change of costume. Any questions pertaining to costume should be addressed with costuming. As a reminder, you are responsible for all costume pieces received. If an item is misplaced or damaged due to negligence, you will be required to pay for it. Okay, so Disney's holding them accountable for things that they might lose.
We did that at my old job.
They also go into like how long your fingernails. Like it says, fingernails should be kept clean. If polish is used, it should be complementary to your skin tone. I don't understand like how do you arrive on that? Because first of all, I don't like those certain colors. Like here's a beige. You're like, ugh.
I think they mean clear or a soft pink or something like that, but not like bright blue, bright yellow, bright green. I guess that's what
Or like
they
that
don't
fuchsia.
Yeah.
Like the how you doing fuchsia.
Yeah.
But they have things on hats, jewelry, like the amount of jewelry you can wear.
Jewelry.
Shoes and hosiery. Women in costume, unless otherwise advised, are required to provide their own leather pump styled shoes with a plain toe. If you've got a very decorative toe, do not bring it out. That's all I'm saying. Disney's very plain in the rules, people. Plain toe.
That's what they mean.
No decorative toes.
I don't think that's what they mean. I think they mean the toe of the shoe. The toe of the shoe.
Flats are acceptable. Okay. Mm-hmm. Shoes should be polished and kept in good repair. Okay. I have mine in the shop right now.
No holy moly.
Just getting the oil changed. Suede is not permitted unless otherwise specified. Was this a problem? Too many people wearing their moccasins. They're like,
I don't know.
guys, Bill, get in here. Bill, you too, Al, get over here. We're going to talk. Get Michael in here. We're going to say, all right, we're having a big problem amongst cast members wearing suede shoes.
Yes, they said.
What are we going to do about this?
No
Well, we're going to have to put it in the book now, aren't we?
You wouldn't want to be easily swayed.
Yeah, you wanted it was a sway vote. But yeah, not permitted unless otherwise specified. So, but people like
Medical
the suede.
condition where you need to wear suede. You
Some
can
people
be
like the
easily
suede.
swayed. So they can
At
be.
the end of the argument, they were persuaded to put in an exception. So, flesh tone hosiery is required to be worn at all times in areas where leather athletic shoe is required. I guess did I read that wrong? Or is it hosiery worn where areas of athletics?
This is, guys, why we don't refer to research material or manuals.
In areas where leather
It
athletic
throws our
shoe
whole
is
game
required. That's where you wear the hosiery?
Reading throws us off.
Okay, shoes should be in a solid color. Suede and canvas are not permitted. Unless, I guess you have certainly approved shoes and socks are required. I like the fact your socks and shoes have to be approved. What are you wearing? Take those off. Check with management prior to purchasing work shoes. You're like, maybe management should just issue them to you.
The funny thing is, it was this.
These are prescription.
I would like to know from any cast members that are fans and follow our show, current cast members, or even if you recently left the program, what of this is defunct, that is no longer part of the rules? Like, because I'd like to know if these
Well,
things
we figure like
still-
most of them, because you see there's a lot of like hot mess express going around.
Yeah, with their fancy toes and
Okay.
their suede shoes.
Yeah. Yeah, decorative toe. Skirt lengths. There are standard skirt lengths for each area or location.
No
Please
boobies.
check with costuming for further information. When a costume with a full-length skirt worn, it should be no longer than ankle length.
Right.
It's like, your skirt's too long. There's a first.
Well, because I guess it could drag and become a safety hazard.
By the way, this was the guidelines for the costumed women. Okay, right here in this part we're reading right then. Guidelines for non-costume women: business attire options for women, a skirted suit with a business-style blouse or sweater. Ooh.
Where did you get this book? eBay?
I had bought little story. Back when I was big into the pin training, you know, from my pin story, the pin shark. If you go back,
We got
watch
the
it.
point.
Yeah, I did too. So I had bought some kind of set of pins for somebody, and they actually threw it in. It was a little newspaper clipping, something for a cast member, and they sent me one of these books too. So I was like,
That's
wow,
cool.
that's really neat.
Because
So
I
it
was
a
wondering
cool
if
little thing.
anybody wanted to try and get a copy.
I'm sure, but you look up, it's called the Disney Look. It's a little pamphlet. Or a pamphlet.
Also, cast members, I'd like to know, what do they give out now? Like, what is the format? Is it something digital? How does it work as far as what they give
Walk-in
you?
papers. That's what they give
And
out
honestly,
now,
we
right?
have friends who are in the Disney College program. Their kids are in the Disney College program, so maybe they could let us know how the current dress code is conveyed to people.
Well, it says even in here, it's like fabrics and patterns, okay? Fabrics should be those traditionally acceptable for business, such as tweed, wool, cotton, polyester, silk, linen, rayon, or blends of these fibers. Unacceptable fabrics
So
include...
I'm guessing that when they say
Listen.
costume, they mean costume still
This is
falls under...
non-costume. This
No,
is...
but I'm saying, so I'm guessing costume includes people that like
Working
run a
the
ride
rides.
or
Yeah,
something like that.
working
So
the
this is
rides.
just people that have like an HR job.
They're not saying
or...
you're in a Tigger costume. Spoil it. the
No,
people are
but
in
I
there.
meant like
And then you
when
have
you
your-
first
your
said
toes-
costumes, that's
yeah.
what I was thinking
Yeah.
about. Like, but if you're saying that people that like work in HR or at like something that doesn't require a uniform, because that's what I would think more is like uniform.
So fabrics should be
costume, I
those
guess.
traditionally acceptable for business. We said that. Unacceptable fabrics include spandex, gauze. Is anybody showing up to work wrapped like the Invisible Man?
There
or like,
are dresses that they refer to as gauze dresses.
like
for
Hollow
women.
Man.
They're not.
Just a pair of sunglasses. Those sunglasses aren't
Mom
allowed.
has some dresses she calls gauze dresses. It is
Okay,
kind of fabric. It's not like medical gauze.
Metallic fabrics. I feel like they're describing everything in your wardrobe. Sheer fabrics, clinging knits,
That's why I don't work there, Josh.
denim and chambray. Is that what this says?
I love hearing you read it though.
Patterns are that are large graphics, large company and non-company logos, and styles or patterns that suggest extremely casual sportswear are not permitted. Okay, so we got those things. All right, we'll go. This is more of the same. Okay, so hairstyling for males. Okay, I'm gonna hold this up a little bit. You can't really see as well, but kind of
If you're
try
on
to.
Spotify, you're screwed.
You know,
We'll try and
if you're
show-
watching
do a-
on YouTube, you can see
we'll
this
do a
little
shot
thing.
on
This
our
is
socials.
This is how they did it in a very blue line kind of way on the acceptable hairstyle. So one we'll call the "Get Off My Lawn." Another one's like I sang in like an old like 50s sock hop kind of band.
I'll take a picture of it and put it on
This
our
guy,
Instagram.
jazz musician, man who dated your ex stepmother, kid and play, and then I would say every owner of an Asian restaurant you've ever seen in your life, because that's exactly what this one guy's hair looks like. The unacceptable hairstyles. I don't even get this. This guy's hair looks like a muffin top. Okay. Another one's got kind of like well, it's more like, I guess, like a tighter knitted, not dread, but kind of like little braids, but like tiny on the head. And then like a full-blown Fabio kind of coiffed there. And then
Now, do you feel like any of
I'm
these
in
hair-
like Tears for Fears is like the
Any
bottom.
of these haircuts you're looking at on there, do you think you've seen any of those now?
I feel like some of them are coming back. Mainly this Tears for Fear hair, where everybody's got that punk rock vibe,
Like,
and they have acceptable sideburns, unacceptable sideburns. Like, okay, let's just back up here for a minute. If you went in there and you said, okay, you reported to work, and like just going like, no, I'm sorry, that's just not going to cut it. What? Your sideburns? They're out of control. You need to go talk.
I
to
can
the
understand
mouse.
if it was like mutton chops or like something like that.
But like, how bad can your sideburns be and get that
mean-
way like overnight? Like, there had to be a warning sign early, because they're like, these are unacceptable. Well, how long has this person been working there? Hair
I mean,
doesn't
when they
grow
go to
that
apply
quick.
for the job, probably. You know what I mean? When they go to apply for the job, if they come in and they've got mutton chop, like big, thick, like later in life Elvis Presley ones that may look like a bit aggressive, that could be an issue.
Well-
or like they're overly shaved out, like Backstreet Boys in the
Yeah.
late 90s, where
Well,
it's like the...
I knew we wouldn't get to everything in here, but one thing I do want to get to, because we're going to try to keep this episode within a certain confine. It's not going to be an hour and a half. It might be just over an hour, and we're probably about 53 minutes into the episode
and
to
we
begin
still
with.
aren't finished.
So, and we're not finished. But one thing I do want to point out, Gina, is the appearance policy discipline section. Okay. So I will go ahead and read part of this for you. It says the appearance guidelines contained in this handbook have been established for the Walt Disney World Resort and may be changed at any time. Failure of any cast member to adhere to these or any subsequently established or modified standard will result in an appropriate disciplinary action, not excluding termination. Every cast member is covered by and responsible for following the Walt Disney World appearance policy. Cast members, including those covered by a collective bargaining agreement, okay, so you got your people in there, may be disciplined when the appearance policy is not followed. Ensuring consistent administration of the Walt Disney World appearance policy is responsibility of management. The cast image and appearance manager and employee relations. Specific questionable deviations from the policy should be referred to the cast image and appearance manager for further assessment. If a cast member deviates from the Disney look, the following shall occur. It's getting good, guys. Strap in. Number 1. The cast member shall be informed of the specific area of noncompliance and informed that the guidelines must be complied with immediately, if applicable, or within 5 calendar days. Countdown begins. This counseling, shall be documented on the employee record card. Ooh, there's a record card. Demerit. Upon correcting the situation, the cast member shall obtain management's verification that the guideline has been successfully met. Number 2, a cast member who does not comply as directed in step 1 shall be issued a reprimand. Additionally, the cast member shall be informed that the guidelines must be complied with immediately, if applicable, or within 3 calendar days, or additional disciplinary action shall be taken. Section 2.1. Management shall be. I can't read. I'm sorry. I'm stuttering all over myself today. I guess it's the lighting. It's so bright. Management shall be responsible for monitoring the situation to ensure that the cast member does not start his or her shift at the end of 3-day period if the guidelines have not been met. So, you ain't going to work, homie. I'll tell you right now, if you ain't fixed it, you with the sideburns, get over here.
The decorative toe.
Now, number three. If the cast member fails to comply immediately or within the additional 3-day time limit, he or she shall receive a second reprimand. Man, they're really kind of lenient here. I'm just feeling like, you're gone. I'm like, off with their heads. I'm Queen of Hearts. If the cast member continues to be in violation of appearance policy subsequent to being issued the second reprimand, he or she may be subject to disciplinary suspension and or termination. You're fired. Employee relations must be consulted prior to imposing a disciplinary suspension or termination. The cast member shall not be permitted to begin his or her shift until management validates that the guidelines have been successfully met. The company reserves the right to dismiss a cast member who fails to return from a disciplinary suspension or continues to violate the company appearance policy. And it's a little footnote. It said, as determined by whether or not the cast member is covered by a collective bargaining agreement and its respective negotiated disciplinary system, questions regarding the administrating appropriate types or levels of discipline should be referred to the employee relations. So that's having people with a collective bargaining agreement. Sorry, I can't read. Anyway, so in a nutshell, I know it's a lot of Josh talking. Gina does it all the time. So this little book here was basically like the key to everything in the secret sauce of what made Disney run like a top, basically. I feel like they were stern but fair in what you say, there's disciplinary things. They give them a few days to correct something. It's not like saying, hey, do this by the end of the day. They're not being overbearing about it. Or just coming over here like this, just walk by, take off your sideburns. Mutton chops, get over here, pork chop. So I feel like they give people enough time to really do something. They try to give them the benefit of the doubt without getting rid of them. Now it feels like the hiring process with it, they're like, hey, can you show up Monday? Okay, cool. What do I got to be here with? Well, you'll be working in Tomorrowland. Try to feel futuristic. Look like you're from the future. I will. It'll be tomorrow. So, you know what? I'm already there. But I feel like I have seen a lot of people in the parks as of recently that have been more of the disheveled look. I'm like, how do you get away with that? Or people like, it's like beards, same thing with men. Like, there used to be like a certain type of facial hair. They have that there too. Like where your mustache, your sideburns, everything beard had to be maintained and taken care of. I feel like as a man, you should do that anyway. You know, I know all you women out there like that rugged look on a man and everything else like this, but let's just be, that doesn't work on everybody. That's a unicorn kind of thing. Some guys can get away with looking dirty. Other guys are just like, yeah, that's not working for you. You just look more dirty. So I digress. But I feel like for now, all the employees that you see, for the most part, they're all still kind of in line with this. But I feel like there's outliers now that would not mesh in with this book. They just would not. I'm like, I feel like you can go to multiple parks and catch at least a handful of people that you'd be like, you might want to work backstage because this is not in line with anything and I don't know what's going on with you. Okay. I feel like also if Disney wants to portray a certain look, they've got enough in costuming. They've got enough employees in there that you can be like, here, beautify your own employees. Just be like, look, you're going to go backstage and we got a little barber. You have a barber shop on Main Street. Just be like, you report to the barber shop. Give him a nice fade. All right, here we go. Cool. Dope ass fade for you. And, you know, your thoughts, Gina.
Ditto.
Dynamite drop in, Monty.
No, I think our thoughts are pretty same on this. Is just it's not personal, it's a part, and it's like if you're playing the part, then you should be dressed for the part.
I think Gina, you and I both would be like if we got a job in Disney. Okay, Disney hiring, you listening? I need something. But perfectly work from home. I'll even make myself look that way. I'll send pictures of you every day. Be like, here you go. But I feel like we would adhere to that. Like, we just like, okay, what do you want us to look like? Okay,
I had it in jobs in the past.
Yeah.
I had it in jobs in the past where it was like, okay, you can't show, you know, like my shirt and my one job. It was because of the way it fit me. Sometimes a little bit of my stomach would show, and they were like, you can't let your stomach show.
Do you think my cruise shirt would be appropriate for any audiences? No.
But I've been in jobs before there's a dress code, and that's what you sign up for. Again, these people are presented this before they start the job.
Yeah.
So it's not like they come in one day and go, oh, by the way, this is a new rule. So if you don't like it, don't work there. You know, it's that simple. So when people are trying to fight the system of like, oh, no, I don't want to, it just does. I said it a minute ago. The food service is where it bothers me the most, is when someone's serving food and they look disheveled and it just makes me think I have no confidence in the sanitation. Because if this is what I can see. And
imagine what you can't.
What am I not?
I've seen somebody full on blood, like sneeze into their hands. Yeah. And I go, I'm like,
so for me,
what did you order? A refund.
But I want everything at Disney to be picture perfect, you know? And so that's just my personal take. Some people may not care, but I think it's another one of those things that sets Disney and Universal apart, or Disney and any other theme park. It is just that level of theming goes to every aspect of it. And I'm not just holding the people responsible. There's plenty of other things that when I feel like it's gone down, I notice it, you know? So.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. I think it's... But
again, I want to hear from the cast members that watch this episode.
Yeah, let us know. This is more of like, this isn't like so much the comedic kind. This is just us unpacking something that we feel like should have been mentioned a long time ago when we were talking about things like how Disney hiring process goes, how much they invested into making their production feel a certain way. And like I said, it's a lot of reading, not really well by me.
It's a rare informative episode.
Yeah, it's more ready because we have things in front of us. I know, it doesn't feel like us a little bit. Sorry about that. Gina, you suck. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't blame it on me.
Yeah. Great idea, Josh. Great. I want to do an episode all about reading this book. This sucks.
But I'm sure there are people out there that, because it's not a book that's easy to get your hands on, I do think there's some of our viewers
It's interesting. And if you can do it, go through and look at the thing. You know, it's like, it's actually pretty interesting. I don't know why I can't speak today.
I don't know why I keep burping. I'm not drinking anything carbonated, but sorry, Spotify.
Yeah, stop burping in general. It's gross. At any rate. So we'll get into our shout, let it all out. Yeah.
Keep track of which way I'm supposed to go. The mirror image throws me off.
All right, Gina, who we shouting out today?
Okay, first and foremost, I have a very special shout out because when I was at the Baltimore Aquarium, the National Aquarium in Baltimore this weekend when we were down in Baltimore for Savannah Bananas, I met a lovely lady at the Aquarium Cafe, and her name was Ashley, and I gave her our card.
What was her name?
She complimented our Disney attire that we were wearing. Yes, at the aquarium, I was dressed in my Disney attire. And she noticed it, and I gave her the card, and she said she's a Disney fan, and talking about podcasts that her child likes to listen to. And I was saying, we're TV-14, and that's mainly just because we talk about alcohol at times. So it should be something that your child would be okay listening to. But she said she was going to give it a listen, and I said, well, listen for episode 22, because I'm going to give you a shout out, Ashley, because she was great.
Deuce.
And she delivered that level of service that we really enjoy, and just very friendly.
And Gina pushed her in the water.
And I also want to give a shout out to Thoughtful Magical Mama on Instagram. Her name is Crystal.
Hey there, Mama.
Crystal is very sweet, big supporter of our show. Love her vibe. Former cast member. And we just really love Crystal, so we want to give her a shout out. Thank you for all the ongoing support. And then we want to give a shout out. If you ever check the comments on our YouTube, you may see some from a friend named Tom Jr., who Josh and I have known
Good old Tom
way
Jr.
back
Love
in the
him.
day, way back before we were
He's a good cat.
podcasters. Really nice, really fun guy, and we just really appreciate
Miss
Tom.
you, buddy. It's been too long.
Yes, it has been. We will hopefully be able to
Restore
meet up
that
with you
magic.
in a future episode. Nope. Future trip, not episode. And we would love to see you on a
No,
future
so
visit.
Gina's having an
Tom,
episode.
I am, clearly. Thank you, Tom, for your comments. Thank you all for every time that you listen. Would you like me to go into where they can find us on?
Yeah,
everything
absolutely.
right
Go
now?
ahead. Why don't you do that?
Okay.
Hey, Gina, why don't you tell them where you can find us?
Oh, good idea.
Now that I've queued you up for it.
Good idea.
And also tell them where we can be found.
If you are watching this on YouTube for the visual content, because you love to just see what Josh and I are going to pull next, we want you to hit like, subscribe, make sure you hit that
you look
notification.
like a koala every time.
I
that happens.
do. You got to check it out if you're on Spotify, that this bell hits me right in the nose.
Let's do it again.
But the notification bell to make sure you don't miss a minute of the magic. If you are watching us on Spotify, please be sure to hit that follow button. Also, you'll get an alert every time a new episode drops. We also would love you to follow us on our social media at BBT Magic Podcast on TikTok, Instagram. We are also on Facebook. And we love your comments, so please keep them coming. And if there's ever anything, show suggestions, any questions you have, feel free to always slide into our DMs also.
That sounds.
But warning,
forward.
it's going to be me.
Yeah, if you want to talk to Gina, I'm not allowed to go into any message. And sometimes I sneak in there when I see things that are already read. I'm like, ha! Like this, and I look, and I'm
There's
like,
no secrets in there.
No, there's not. And everybody's like, why is Josh playing guitar on here? Anyway, so this episode, again, has been brought to you by our theme park chuckle. Okay? It's us.
It's
The jig is up. It's me.
Yeah, if you're listening on Spotify, go to themeparkchuckle.com.
Yeah, if you're listening on Spotify, go to Theme Park Chuckle. Somebody said that. I think it's great. And you
love
can
this
get
shirt.
this throwback Pleasure Island type shirt with Bring Back the Magic podcast, and all proceeds go to
Us.
go to support the podcast.
$1 per shirt at most.
It all
so
goes
buy
to
a bunch.
Gina's drinking habit. Just kidding. It goes to fill our Disney habits, which are buying Disney stuff and promoting things and whatever.
It
else
is. That is
so.
my addiction, is Disney and Disney stuff.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for another great week. We appreciate each and every one of you. We hope that you had a good time and,
Learn
please,
something maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
This time.
So please watch your head and step as you exit the podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Bring back the magic for all to see. Together we'll discover all the joy and glow. In every story, there's a little bit of gold. Join our podcast adventure, let the magic unfold.